Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Coaches Dugout podcast, a podcast for coaches by coaches. Now, do remember, follow us on Instagram. We are also on Spotify and YouTube as well. And follow us, subscribe to us, and leave a comment if you want to, or you have ideas of who you want to see next in our Coaches Dugout podcast. Now, with me today, my fellow host, Isa, who's been out for quite a bit, Mr. Isalim.
Yeah, very happy to be back, and I'm very happy and excited for this episode as well.
Exactly. Now, let's get started. Now, the UTR project, the Unleash the Raw project. Now, lots have been talked about in the past year or so about the UTR, but a lot of people don't exactly know what that is. And I think we need to get into it, and we have a very special person in the house today, or in the studios today, to talk about that, the Unleash the Raw project.
Thank you, Shasi. I think today we have a very special guest in the studio with us. I'll just do a short introduction.
Yep.
He is a former professional player in the S-League, former head coach for Home United and Hougang Football Club, was the Young Lions head coach, did very well, now Interim Technical Director of the FAS. Let's welcome Mr. Philippe Aw.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. Great to be here. Off the field, I know all of you, right? And yeah, to be seated here and having a chat with you guys, it's something that is, I'm very happy about it.
You say off the pitch, but on the pitch as well, I know you as well. You know,
Yes.
I think we've been on opposite sides a few times before. Yeah, Philip, how has it been? Before we talk about the UTR project, just a little bit, just to get us warmed up a little bit. How has it been so far as an interim TD? Because maybe 5 years ago, did you ever think that you would be a TD?
5 years ago, I was still a coach, right?
Yeah.
You were thinking that you will forever stay as a coach. But here I am now, covering the technical director role. I guess one of the reasons was because the former technical director, Joseph, I worked very closely with him. When he was here, he actually mentioned that in future, Singapore should have a local TD. We can't always depend on foreigners because they come and go. And it's very important that we have a local helping the technical director role. And so he included me in a lot of things. And that's why, this period wasn't as tough as it could be because, I was aligned to all the things that I was trying to do. Yeah.
Very well said. So, just to ask, what is your primary role in this interim TD position?
Yeah, so, as for technical director, right, they always say that you are planning for the future.
Okay.
Yeah. The national coach will be planning to win the next game.
Okay.
And what we try and do is to ensure that the whole ecosystem will ensure that in 10 years' time we have a successful
The preparation
team.
and development?
Yeah. So definitely development, looking at the whole ecosystem. Yeah. From grassroots.
Okay.
Which is, for me, is the most important. Youth development, elite youth development.
Okay.
Let's not forget women's.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, then our professional clubs. So it is everything. Yeah. The whole ecosystem. And that means, our Ministry of Education, the schools, a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it is the whole ecosystem.
And so to speak, I think this is a big role. So I think with big role, it comes challenges. So maybe to you, any challenges that you are actually facing at the moment?
Changing mindset. Yeah.
Okay.
So, people, they are used to doing what they have been used to. And if you start to make changes, and that means, you take them out of their comfort zone and they feel uneasy.
Okay.
And so I'm sure that there are unhappiness when you make changes.
Okay.
But we can't be doing the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
And we expect results to change.
Okay.
And so if we want to progress and we want future successes, then we need to look at what we are doing. And if we need to change, bite the bullet and change.
I think that's well said in terms of the changes part. I think, and that's human nature as well, a little bit, because people tend to stay in their lane. They don't want to, change and accept changes. I think that's the most important thing. And I think that was well said. Now, let's go into the UTR project, because that's what we are here for, and we want to know, and the people at home as well, coaches as well, want to know as well about the Unleash the Raw project, right? Now, what is this whole project actually, and what is the aim and the end goal?
So this is a national movement. Yeah, involves many stakeholders, and I think this is the first time that so many stakeholders come together involving in football. Yeah. So what we aim to do is to raise the level of Singapore football across all levels, and that means having a better ecosystem. Yeah, so that all levels of football can thrive. Yeah. I think there's a misunderstanding of people saying that we want to reach the World Cup 2034. Yeah, yes, that's an aspiration, but however, it is through this journey, it is about unifying the nation. Because everybody's going to come on board and get involved. And we want to use football to unify the nation. And football, right?
Yeah.
It's a very, very powerful game. It's the most powerful game in the world. Number one sport in the world. And it can unite people,
Okay.
regardless of your background, regardless of your color, regardless of your race and anything. And you just, when a match is going on in Singapore, 55,000 goes into the national stadium. Which other sport can do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what we want to do is also to nurture the dreams of our young ones.
Yeah.
Be it a boy, be it a girl. I mean, three of us here, when we were young, we dream of playing football, right? As a professional. And of course, Sashi and myself, we managed to do that. And we achieve our dreams.
Yeah.
But the thing is, some of our boys, the dreams, it's bigger. They want to play in the EPL. They want to...
Okay.
Yeah, so we need to help them. And therefore, this national movement of unifying everybody and giving our young ones the dream, they have a dream and therefore we help them to achieve their dreams. Yeah.
Philip, there's something that I picked up which is, I think, very, very important, and people at home, if you can rewind this, I'm gonna say it again. It was very, very important, something that you said. It is a misconception that this is a 2034 World Cup project.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like, okay, the Unleash the Raw is actually a 2034 project, right? So it is a misconception.
That's right. So the thing is, yes, we have to set a goal, right? We
Right.
have to set a target, and the target is, yes, goal 2034. We want to reach the World Cup in 2034. However, it is not. It is about the process that we put in. It is about the journey. And at the end of the day, if we don't reach World Cup in 2034, however the whole Singapore ecosystem has improved, then we are on our way. We could reach it later.
Yeah.
But let's not be too harped on the 2034 that we want to go to the World Cup, and if we don't reach there, we have failed. I think it is more important to look at the processes, look at this journey, look at what we have changed, look at what we have done better and things like this.
And it's also very exciting when we talk about the World Cup. Everybody's looking forward for the World Cup. It's something huge. But maybe if you share with us, what is the roadmap of this whole UTR project, and just slightly in details, what are the processes and how we're reaching that?
Yeah. So coming back to reaching the World Cup, right? If you realize that in this modern era, smaller nations have got there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it is part of FIFA's long-term objective to want to allow the newer nations they don't want the traditional teams there all the time.
Yeah, okay.
I think this Qatar World Cup, 32 teams.
Yeah.
Think
And
that is-
but the same Asian teams are there.
That's right.
We talk about Asia,
Korea,
yeah.
Japan, Saudi.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Yeah.
Iran?
Yeah.
Iran, yeah.
Right. It's the
Yes.
same old.
And so I think just in Asia itself, I know Japan is reaching out to a lot of nations, trying to help
Yeah.
the Asian nations to lift the game. I know AFC wants to lift the whole of Asia, and because it is very important that when we go to a World Cup, we compete as an Asian team, we represent Asia,
Okay.
and we hope that one day the Asian team will lift the World Cup instead of South American
Okay,
teams or the
yeah.
European teams, right? Yeah, so I think FIFA, what they are trying to do, remember they talk about the biannual
Yeah.
World Cup.
Yeah.
They want opportunity for these smaller nations to reach there. Yeah. And if you aspire to reach the World Cup, that being your target, then it means that you will do a lot of things along the way to aim to reach.
Yes, whether
the
you make it or not, I think the processes is very important. Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So coming back to your question of the roadmap.
Okay.
We have come together and we have looked at the Singapore ecosystem, and we realized that we're gonna aim for 8 key points, which is the 8 pillars we term it.
Right.
Yeah. So you have your let them play, which is we want more people to play.
Yep.
Okay.
And the let them play sector is also about the golden age of development, where there's 8 to 12 years old
Yeah.
boys and girls. And for me, I've been in Singapore coaching a long time. I've a kid who has gone through primary school, and seriously, in their golden age, we need to do better in our coaching.
I think more has to be done in that area.
Definitely. In the second pillar would be the let them soar, and that's in the secondary schools, and that's in the elite youth pathway. And we have started school football academies,
Okay.
which we can elaborate more later. We have pillar 3, which is scholarships.
Okay.
I have I have seen many bright young footballers who in the end chose the academic path and decided not to pursue football. And I think we should be able to balance both. And therefore, we have come up with scholarships to help this, footballers that can study as well, to continue to pursue studies while playing football.
Okay.
Yep. Fourth is national service. It's the most unique thing, and I think many people cannot get around this, especially people out of Singapore. But it is something that is very important to us as a country, and so it is about how do we work with national service
Okay.
and not
Go
do without
against it.
national service.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's very important. Number 5 is enhancing technical capabilities, which means we look at our coaches. And yes, there are big plans in place to raise the capabilities of coaches, like mentorship, like revamping of coaching courses, like continuous professional development. And yeah, so many things in the coach education sector. Pillar 6 would be infrastructure. So we are a small country, and many a times, people complain, we don't have field to play, we don't have field to train on, and therefore what we are trying to do is now looking at the schools. Could we floodlight the schools so that from 7 to 9 it becomes two more hours of training time? Up to now, we know that our fields are all, majority of them are schools, and by 7 that's it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and the number of stadiums that you have is limited.
Yep.
And the professional teams or the adult teams are there. So where do your youth teams go and train? Yeah, so we were looking at floodlighting all these suitable schools and to provide more training hours. Of course, there's the sports science element.
Yeah.
And Sasi, when we started out as players, we never hear such a word back then, right?
Yeah.
The coach just asks you to run and run. But today we have so much data coming from sports science, and I think it's so important that we embrace this, because around the world the top nations have moved far beyond, and we are still, a personal view is that we are far behind. Yeah, so when we do fitness testing, we get the data. What do we do with the data? Most of the time we just chuck it aside. But there's so much information on the data that you can use to improve the processes, to improve the training sessions. And at the end of the day, this data will reflect on the coach. Yeah, it gives a lot of information to the coach. When you set out a training session, okay, actually this training session is not so good, right? I didn't achieve my objective. Yeah, so this are the things that we want our coaches to embrace as well.
I think this is also about evidence versus the opinions. I think for sports science, you get the evidence to show the players rather than the coach's opinions.
That's
alone.
right. That's right.
So you can mix it.
Most of the time, it becomes subjective.
Okay.
Yeah, but with data backing your
very
views,
objective
it becomes very objective. And I think throughout these years, the players, they accept it because they said, okay, yeah, whatever coach is saying is correct,
But
because
now,
he has data.
with the generation of players getting smarter, generation of players questioning the coaches.
That's right. And of course, the last pillar would be a together movement. Coming together, the whole of society. It's not only the FAS, Sports SG, it's not only the schools, but also the private sector.
Okay.
Yeah, we need private sector to come and help us in this project, because we can't run away. That money is very important.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm very sure in Singapore we have many private companies that are able to support this project.
Yep, exactly. You spoke about the UTR and the pillars, and I think that was well said as well. And this part is mainly about the coaches, but if you look at the UTR project, it's complex. It's encompasses many things. And like one of it was infrastructure, like you said, right? The fields and stuff. Okay,
Yes.
that is in a way a problem for us in terms of the size and all. But let's talk a little bit about the coaching aspect and stuff, right? And also break this down in terms of the SFAs, right? So what are these SFAs? How many are there? The number of centers, obviously, and the pitches.
So we have 10 school football academies currently.
Right.
We are in discussions with schools to grow this number.
Okay.
We're looking at 16.
Okay.
Yep, across Singapore, split around Singapore into the 4 regions.
Secondary schools.
Secondary schools.
Right.
Yep, this is where we aim to start with.
Okay.
Of course, once we can establish this, we are going lower into the primary schools, because like I said, the golden age is very important. And if you get the basics right, in that sector, then when they come into your SFAs, you know, you have a higher base to start with. So yes, we have 10, and currently they are spread around Singapore. Singapore Sports School is one of them. Yes. We do have in the west Jurongville and Assumption English School. In the east we have St. Patrick's, we have Meridian. So the thing is, some people say, oh, some schools are powerhouses, some schools are not. So to me, or to us, it's not important whether you are currently a powerhouse in football. What's more important is that you want to come on board this project, and very, very important, you support this project. Which means why I say this is because the principle is really, really, really important, right? We are so used to training 2 times a week. We are so used to saying when exams come, everything stops.
Not enough.
And so if you think of developing youths, back then we play a lot.
Even every day.
And seriously, because of that, I didn't have a coach when I was young, but I just kept playing every day. Who made me better? Playing every day. And I think what we are trying to do here is to increase the frequency of training. And we need the school to support that. Yes. And the other thing is, we talk about coaching. We have full-time coaches,
right?
And it's not one. Very, very often, if you see in schools, it's one coach to sometimes 30 boys. Some schools I see is 50 boys.
Two teams.
And so it's very, very difficult. But now what we have in each school is one head coach,
right,
and 2 assistant coaches. We have a group of specialist coaches, which is your goalkeeper coach, your fitness coach. And so if you look at it, in one training session, you could have 3-4 coaches managing just 20 players. And so if you count the ratio, it's 1:5. So in terms of learning, that will greatly help our young players. And these coaches are full-time. So they do nothing else but focus on that 20 boys that they have in their school. And therefore, they have to look at the individual development plan. And very, very often, right, as coaches, we look at the team performance. But this SFA project is about raising the capability of each individual player. So you have the individual plan. Let's say Isa, okay, I have a plan for him, and I realize that, okay, this is where he is very strong at. We continue to make it even better. This is where Isa is weak at. Let's try and improve a little bit, to make it better. So our coaches are full-time, and the effort that is going to put in is full-time.
Very focused in a sense.
And so, like I said, it is the resources that we're putting into this school football academy is huge, and the focus is really there. And we believe that given time, we will be able to raise the standards of our young players.
Now, before Isa touches on a little bit of the coaching bit and the coaches, the makeup of the coaches and stuff, I have a question. Now, it's very important, obviously, like the principals, have a good relationship. The schools have a good relationship with FA, and the tie-up is done and what have you, right? Now, we have all these SFAs at the moment. We have 10, right? How about the other players who are not in this school, right? From the other schools, the normal schools who are out of these 10, and obviously go up to 16 soon. And so how about these boys who might not be in these schools, right? So the pool could be actually a little bit wider or bigger. So how about these boys who are they being left out?
Okay, so Sasi, you know this, before this, we only have the centers of excellence, right? So that's where the better players go to play their football at a higher level. And that's the only path back then. So what we have created now with the school football academies, and let's not forget about our active SG development centers. So a boy that is not in a school football academy has 2 more pathways to go to. 1, to go to the center of excellence, and 2, goes to the active SG development centers. So now they have actually 3 pathways.
And all the other academies.
That's right. and so what we have done now is we've increased the numbers, we've increased the opportunities for players to receive elite youth training. And we know it's a numbers game. The more you have at the base, the chance of having more at the top is higher. Let's not just focus on the boys, because these school football academies also focus on the girls. So this whole Unleash the Raw project is actually boys and girls.
Yeah.
So we are in discussion with schools again that we will start the girls' school football academies in 2023, and that's in the plans already. So it is for both.
You see, Philip, this one goes back to the misconception that it's a goal to 2034, because then people will be thinking, okay, it's goal to 2034, and then only students from these 10
Schools will
centers
get selected,
will be
yeah.
not will be selected. Yeah, you know,
In a sense,
will be
yeah.
more looked at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where the question came from. Isa.
I think since we are talking about coaching
Yeah.
and coaches, so just a makeup of the coaches at the moment, and I'm sure you guys have foreign coaches coming in to also boost the coaching fraternity down here. So maybe what are the ratio of foreign and local coaches up to date at the moment?
Yeah, so with regards to coaches, maybe before I answer that question, we have a few partnership that we have signed. One is La Liga,
Okay.
where we will have Spanish coaches coming into our school football academies.
Okay.
They will helm as the head coach,
Okay.
where our local coaches will assist them.
Okay.
They will have this transfer of knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very important. Two, we have also a partnership with Borussia Dortmund, where they will help us on coach development as well. Third, we have recently signed a MOU with the French Football Federation,
Right.
Okay.
and they will mainly focus on helping us in the women's game.
Right.
Yeah, I think the women's game is largely untapped. Yeah, and therefore we definitely can do much more. And to be honest, right, I think the women stands a far better chance of reaching the World Cup earlier than the men's.
Right.
Because in the men's sector, it is far established.
Okay.
Yeah, but for women's, I think it is largely untapped.
But still difficult. Still very difficult.
Still very
Yes,
difficult, yes.
okay.
But you see Philippines there,
Yeah.
you see Vietnam there. But yeah, if we do get our processes right, I think we may get there. Yeah. And lastly, we also have a MOU with Japan FA. Yeah. So all these partnerships is to help us in raising our capabilities, in improving the ecosystem, in improving the processes. Yeah. Coming back to SFAs, like I said, we have the partnership with La Liga, and therefore we will have our Spanish coaches coming. So far, we have identified 8. We have gone through an interview process with them.
Okay.
This interview process is the same as the processes that the local coaches have undergone.
Right.
We have now 13 local coaches in the SFAs. They are full-time, and like I said, they go through an interview process, and in that committee that interviews the coaches, comprise Sports SG, comprise Active SG, comprise Football Association of Singapore, comprise National Youth Sports Institute. And as you can see, it's a combination of people from different agencies. I think that is very, very important, because if, let's say, the panel only comes from FAS, then we are just looking at football, right? But if you have someone from NYSI, he will look at the youth development, because coaching is not just football knowledge. Coaching has so many other things around it, like understanding of long-term athlete development, understanding communication, understanding learning.
The works.
Yeah, so that's it, right? So the process of getting these coaches in was a thorough one. You can imagine the number of hours me and the rest of them spent interviewing them.
Yep. It's a good thing, good seg to the next question I wanted to ask you. These local coaches that are being selected and stuff, were they through applications on their own, or were they headhunted?
So we have an open application.
Okay.
Yep. In the advertisement portals, careers at Golf, and coaches just apply.
Right.
Yep. And we had so many applications, and we needed to sift through the applications and select whom we think are ideal for the interview process.
Yep.
And then we gave them, those that we call up for interviews, we actually gave them some tasks to present.
Okay.
Coaching philosophy, match analysis, the trainings that you do after the analysis, and also individual development plan.
Right.
Like I said, in this school football academy project, it is about looking at the individual in a team environment. And so it's very important that we interview the coaches and see how much they know, or what they think about individual development.
Mm.
Because for the longest time, I look at our youth sector, it has always been about team results.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, if my team wins, great, I'm a good coach. If my team loses, I'm not a good coach. No. I don't think that's right. I think it's about developing them and how many players actually finally reach the top, represent Singapore, go abroad.
That's a good point as well. And we talk about qualifications and stuff, right, like that. So what are the basic qualifications they need in terms of paper qualifications? Nothing to do with the soft skills and whatever, right? So
Yep.
yeah.
So yeah, our coaches they range from C to A. Yeah. So people are saying, initially people say, oh, you should get the best coaches to come into the SFAs.
Right.
Yeah. So everybody should be A licensed. The thing for me is we have so many pathways, right?
Right.
So imagine you take the best of the best coming to the SFAs. Then what happens to the development centers in Active SG? What happens to your center of excellence?
Right.
So what I want to do with the SFAs is that we have a different qualifications of coaches. I have a C coach, which is I can share with you that we have Fazrul Nawas, an ex-national player who has just joined us. So in terms of coaching experience, not great, but he has plenty of playing experience. And so now what we want to help him to do is that in this SFA project, he develops as a coach in an environment that he will get to learn, get to practice, and he can learn off the Spanish coaches as well. We have twice a week coaches sessions where we come together, where we share things, and this environment will help Fazrul develop way faster than if I left him alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, we also have very, very experienced one, which is Coach Nasaruddin. Yeah, he was my coach before,
Right.
and so now we are working together, and he has vast experience in terms of youth development. And so Fazrul not only learns from the La Liga coaches, he also can learn off Coach Nasa as well.
Right.
So we have different levels of coaches there.
Yeah.
What's important is that we want to improve every one of them, even Coach Nasa.
Right.
Yeah, because we have National Youth Sports Institute, we have the SSI as well. So we have all these all these agencies, right, part of us, and therefore, definitely we will be able to increase the capabilities of our coaches. Yeah.
Okay, Philip, we spoke about the pillars and you spoke about this coaching education for the coaches and helping them to get better, as you said earlier. So what are some of the plans for these SFA coaches? Whether can they develop overseas or can they go through courses?
So we have already started this.
Okay.
Twice a week, the coaches come into FAS, and we go through sessions on different aspects, on the technical, tactical, as well as the physical. Like I said, we have NYSI, we have SSI, and they do come in as well. Just a few days ago, we have a friend who is also working in NIE, coming in to talk about non-linear pedagogy.
Okay.
And so we have a few sessions where we conducted our football sessions, football drills, and then after that we go into the classroom and discuss about it. And so it's an eye opener for our coaches. What I want my coaches to do is to be trained on different
domains,
different domains, because like I said, coaching is not just football.
Okay.
There are many things to coaching. Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing is also, I want, let's say, in 10 years' time, one of these coaches becomes an SPL coach, right? And he is able to hold a conversation with the sports scientist, with the fitness coach, with the analyst, because he has undergone all these things during the SFA program. And then for me, that's a great success. We do not want these coaches to stay in this program forever, yes, but we use this program to improve them and make them better. And the long-term goal is that if they go overseas and succeed there, knowing that the background was from SFA,
The foundation. Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's why I come back to the point where we have different qualifications of coaches in there, because ultimately we want to improve them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting from what you mentioned earlier, but am I right to say that these coaches will really improve holistically rather than just the football aspect of the game?
Yes, Issa.
Yeah.
Issa, you and me, we do the Game for Life mentoring. And so part of this SFA project, right, is also not just football education. It is also about the character and leadership, life values.
Yeah.
And so this is the thing. It's a wholesome project. It is holistic, and we have gone in there. You know, we recently have a meet the parents session, and at the end of it, the parents are very happy that we are not just there to improve their kids in football. We are there to improve their lives as well.
Okay.
And we all know that not many will succeed to the top. So what happens after that? Yeah, so that's the thing. Coming back to overseas attachment, yes, we do. We have in plans with our partners, Borussia Dortmund, French Football Academy, to send our coaches overseas and let them be there for, let's say, 3 months.
Yeah.
Be attached to their elite youth team. Live the life of a Borussia Dortmund coach. Follow the head coach, follow the assistant coach, have conversations with them, look at what they're trying to do. But most importantly, right, it's not to learn the philosophy of BVB. It's to learn the methodology. How do you transfer on paper onto the pitch? Yeah. So the daily processes is important. The thinking behind doing things is important. And so we want our coaches to go there and learn that. And when they come back, they're going to share, with the rest of us. And it's not. So this is the thing. What we are trying to do now is, it's not just the SFA coaches are important. The coaches that's out there is very, very important. So in FAS, we have for the past 1 year, we've been in discussion of how to help all coaches, and we will have big plans coming up. Coach Zai from the Coach Education Department will be hosting a webinar soon to discuss about the future of coaching in Singapore. Definitely, if you are a coach, we want to help you. Yeah, for the longest time, we have focused on the elite coaches, where we neglected the school coaches. I come from the ground. I spent many years coaching. I understand the ground senses, and therefore I want to help the coaches that are out of this circle, who are applying their trade in schools, which is so important. Yeah.
It's all about the growth mindset, and I like the part where you said it's at the bottom where it's really work needs to be done. I think you've been a school coach before. You've seen it through the under-16s with the Home United before, and I've been through that, and been watching some. And again, I'm not going to put you in a spot. I'm telling you, it's in my opinion. It's loads need to be done at that level in terms of the coaching bit, because it's ridiculous sometimes when you see it happening. It's ridiculous, and it's about kicking. It's not about playing the game as it should be, right? Now, just moving on a little bit. Obviously, the project has started, right, with 10 SFAs and all. Any particular challenges that you face with respect to training wise? Have you seen any, which is quite? I mean, challenges will happen, problems will occur, but anything that is quite open out there.
So the thing is, starting these 10 schools, football academies, we term it as a pilot project, because it's a new project, and we know that there will be challenges, and there has been many challenges.
Okay.
And so the thing is, every school is different, right? Sports school is different from Assumption English. Assumption English is different from St. Patrick's. St. Patrick's is different from Serangoon Gardens, because the timetabling is different.
Okay.
The facilities available is different.
Okay.
And so I needed to go into every school to look at how we can put in the correct processes. I cannot copy and paste the processes of Singapore Sports School into Serangoon Gardens, because it will not work. Saying this, we cannot copy what people do in England, what people do in Belgium, and paste it into Singapore. So these are the things we need to find the most efficient in each school, and therefore there has been challenges, and that's why we are still trying to put in the correct processes. So day in, day out, we are trying to find what is best for this school, football academy. And we're definitely trying to improve each and every one of them, because we have more SFAs coming on board. We have the girls SFAs coming on next year.
That's good.
And therefore, all these challenges that we face now, and if we can find a solution, so we'll be better prepared for the new SFAs that's going to come about.
Yeah, it's a learning point, right? Like,
Yep.
Right.
I think you shared quite extensively on this program, but how would you really compare this to maybe perhaps the NFAs or even the COEs that the boys that are playing in the clubs?
So
Yeah.
I have been a COE coach before. I have been a national youth coach before. So back then when I was a COE coach, what happens is sometimes I have a tussle with the school, right? Because we want the player to attend our trainings, which is still happening today.
Yeah.
Which is still happening today. So in the end, the boy is caught in the middle.
Okay.
So the boy has to go for school training from 3 to 5 because he needs to be there to clock the CCA points.
Yeah.
And he needs to come for the club training, and he rushes down, he trains from 5 to 7.
Okay.
So a boy who wakes up 6 a.m. in the morning, goes to school and finishes at 2, trains from 3 to 7 p.m., goes back home, and it repeats and repeats and repeats. How will this boy develop? So many occasions what happens is, first, serious injuries comes in because
Overtraining?
perhaps not injured, but sick of it,
Burnout.
too much. Yeah, he drops out of the game. And third, academics. We know that academics in Singapore is very important. Yeah, we want our children to do well in studies, and therefore, imagine this: spending 4 hours a day, 3 times a week, playing football. How much time does he have with regards to revision, regards to finishing his homework? And so back then, when I was a youth coach in COE coach, I get calls from the parents. Coach Philip, my son has to stop because his results have dropped badly. So I want him to focus on studies before he comes back to football. So this is the thing. And the other thing is national youth. I get a player who plays for school, who plays for clubs, who plays for academies, and comes for national youth training. And again, he gets burnt out. He gets overloaded. Yeah. And so 7 days a week he's involved in football. And here we are, we're talking about a 13, 14, 15-year-old boy. And he spends so much time, practicing football and studies. How about his other parts of life? Spending time with the family, and things like that. And so in the school football academy, we now base the football program in the school.
Yeah.
Yep. And so now our coaches work together with the teachers. So the teachers understands the football commitments. Our coaches understand the academic commitments. And so now we balance it out for them. So a boy now stays in school, finishes school, have lunch, start training ends, goes back home. But everything is controlled because we know about everything. Otherwise, the school doesn't know what's his commitment outside. The club doesn't know his commitments in school. And therefore, over the years, I've seen many players drop out of the system.
So it's a one-stop service for the players actually.
Yes, it is.
To make it easy for them. Yeah.
And to make this clear as
Yeah.
well to people who are listening and watching in as well. So these players are in a way contracted to the school, so they cannot play for academies outside. They cannot play obviously for clubs, obviously because their training is like almost every day in the SFAs, right?
So the thing is, yes, we do not want them to have any other football activities outside.
Right.
First of all, the football program that we are putting in the schools, it's an elite youth program,
Right.
where we already look after the all aspects
Yep.
in terms of football training.
Yep.
Yeah. Where else would you get a specialized goalkeeper coach, fitness coach, and 3 coaches looking after you? So you have 5 coaches looking after you.
Yep.
Yeah. The other thing is, an example, in Jurongville Secondary now, football training is 3 times a week. 2 times before the football training sessions, we have classroom sessions.
Right.
So in these classroom sessions, our coaches are there. And what we do is, first, it could be analysis sessions. 2, it could be nutrition, recovery topics, the importance of sleep. Or 3, it could be simply, okay, boys, sit down now, finish off your homework, before we go out for training.
Yep.
And so this is the thing, right? If you can manage both academics and football consistently, I don't think we will have this problem of the parents taking the boy out from football because results are poor.
Right.
We always talk about talent identification, but I think we also need to look at talent retention.
Yeah.
So many players have dropped out of the system because of academics, because of injuries.
That in a way actually puts a little bit of focus for the boys itself, because it is the same thing happening with the LCS scholarships, because they cannot play for the school team. They are only focusing. So it's not here and there, and but obviously they need to get that very good elite kind of football training, which is important. So it's like that, right? And I think it's very important, and also for people to understand as well, in the coaches dugout team's opinion, that everyone and all stakeholders should be pulling and pushing and whatever you want to call it together in the same direction. I think that's very important. And obviously when this first came out, was coined the UTR, the World Cup, or whatever you want to call it, right? Wow. It blew up, right? It just blew up, and I think you got criticism, and we know that as well, and we don't want to go into that in particular in detail. How can we convince people then that this is something for all of us to be, because we cannot have one bad egg, or you want to call it cancer or whatever, to start talking behind people's back, and then it all goes out of the window. I think we need people to be pulling and pushing in the same direction. How do we convince people, Philip? Because it's difficult. Let's face the facts, and we're not going to make everyone happy, right? So how do we do that?
So first of all, we definitely can't make everyone happy, regardless of what trade you're in, regardless of what you do. But it will not be easy. If you look at the powerhouses like Belgium, Germany, they also also faced challenges when they try to implement something. So the thing is, I think it is very important that we try and get as many people on board. I know we will never get 100% on board. But it's okay. If we can get the majority to come on board this, to believe in this, and we slowly but surely chip it away, we will be able, again, I'm not saying that we will reach World Cup in 2034, but we will be able to improve the whole ecosystem, and then raise the level of our local football. So at the end of the day, we are all part of a team pulling in the same direction. We need time. Too often I feel that we are too impatient.
Right.
And this is youth development we are talking about. And you can't expect overnight success. I don't think you can get anyone to come into Singapore and achieve success overnight. Nobody can. Right. Not the best coach in the world, not the best technical director in the world. But we need time, and all of us together, helping and believing that this can work.
I think, Isa, we talk about changes and all, right? And we've been doing the same things every single year without change, as in the results, right? And like you said it at the beginning, like it has to come from, we need to make a change, and whether it succeeds or not, it's a different story. But I think, and even if you are at the helm right now and you are saying, we're talking about the processes and what have you, right? Even if you reach the World Cup in 2000 and whatever, right? I think you will have a say and say that, at least I did. You won't live till the day when Singapore reaches the World Cup, maybe, but you had a say. I think that is very important, that people accept changes. We need to change anyway, all right, because like I said, we can't be doing the same thing over and over again and accept changes, right, or expect things to change. So is there any last thoughts on this?
I think fantastic sharing, and I think the viewers out there will really get a deeper understanding of what we are doing down here. And just from you, Philip, any advice or any messages to the aspiring coaches or even coaches in this UTR project, or even the SFA?
Are you looking for any coaches, Samo?
Oh yes, we are. Right. Like I said, we have more SFAs coming. Our process is ongoing. Right. We are always looking at coaches. So if they are interested, they can apply for it. Okay. So coming back, I think every coach is important. Regardless whether now you're out there on the open field training 5-6 kids, you are important. So every coach has a role to play in us trying to improve our football ecosystem, trying to improve our football levels. But what I want to say is that I think lifelong learning is very, very important. I am still learning every single day. I'm sure the two of you are as well. So I encourage all coaches to, even though not just coaches, but everybody involved in football to have a mindset of lifelong learning, that we can get better. We are not the finished product. We learn till the day we end our lives. Yeah. Just last of all, we can't do this on our own. We have to do it together. And yes, we will have conversations with all stakeholders, and that includes a coach on the ground, that includes the teacher, that includes administrator. But yeah, we need to have all these conversations, because me alone or FAS alone can't do things on themselves. Yeah.
Philip, thank you so much. And you heard it first. UTR are looking for coaches. So coaches out there, if you're listening and you're watching this, if you think that you can make a difference to in Singapore football, please do apply. And this has been a very good session. Philip, thank you so much for taking your time off from your busy schedule, and I think you got to rush off to back to the office and do more work. Again, Issa, thank you for being here as well. And this has been the Coaches Dugout podcast, the podcast by coaches for coaches, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.